We want to bring in Beatriz Correa to talk more about the situation in Brazil. She's the international editor at Bandeirantes TV. And we've heard from world leaders criticizing what we saw there. But what are people in Brazil saying? What has been the reaction there?
Well, Brazilian people reacted with a lot of outrage in general, of course, because there's a lot of people that still support ex-president Jair Bolsonaro. But mostly, even people who voted for Bolsonaro are not, they don't support this kind of action, this kind of violent action from the supporters that don't respect the results of last election. So what we saw yesterday was considered by many people here in Brazil an attack to our democracy, because they stormed the street powers, right? They stormed the National Congress building, they stormed the Supreme Court building, and they stormed also the presidential palace, Palácio do Planalto.
So as I understand it, former President Bolsonaro was not even in the country when this happened, but he certainly has been accused of riling up the protesters, stirring them up. Have we heard anything from him?
Yes, in fact, he's in the U.S. since last weekend. He was not here in Brazil for the inauguration of Lula. It was the first time since the military dictatorship that happened. We didn't have the former president giving the power to the next president. And Bolsonaro is in Orlando right now, and he tweeted. He said he's not in accord with violence in the protest, but in fact he compared this kind of protest with the methods of the left. So he said it was kind of more or less the same thing, although never in our history the National Congress and Supreme Court building and the presidential palace has been invaded before. So it doesn't have a comparison.
Where do things go from here? Because, you know, we have our own experience in this country when you look at the January 6th committees. But has there been an investigation, and what makes people feel there that this may not happen again, or there might not be some other type of uprising because of the sheer amount of people who did support Bolsonaro?
Yeah, what Lula, the current president, said when he was inaugurated is that the responsible for this kind of anti-democratic act are going to be held responsible. Yesterday, he was not in Brasilia when everything happened. He was in São Paulo, in the countryside of São Paulo, in a city named Araraquara. So he quickly flew back to Brasilia after everything happened. And the justice minister, he said he was going to investigate. And actually, right now, I know in the U.S., almost 1,000 people were arrested after the Capitol invasion. Here in Brazil, right now, we had until some hours ago the information of 300 people arrested. But right now, they are dismantling the camp outside the army headquarters in Brasilia. There's 40 buses taking this protest from the army headquarters to the headquarters of the federal police. It's equivalent to the FBI. So we don't know what's going to happen to these people. It's 1,200 people that is currently being held by the federal police. We don't know if they are going to be charged with any crime, but some of them, of course, they can be charged in the Article 359 that is trying to overthrow a legitimate constituted government. It's in the penalty for this kind of crime, it's 4 to 12 years in prison.
Well, you know, Beatriz, here it's been 2 years and we're still dealing with investigations and court cases, and, and all that sort of stuff. So we'll see how things unfold there. Beatriz Correa, thank you very much.